discussion on the side, but this hopefully works. So CMUS in many ways try to do things that are very similar to a regular university department when it comes to regular educational courses, or we take part in different research projects, or we try to work with different outreach activities, like having open lectures, for example, or seminars. So in that way, CMUS is like everybody else. But then there's a big part also of CMUS of trying to do things or create spaces where other parts of the university can't create those spaces or can't be part of initiating those activities. So that's also a very important part of what CEMUS Forum and Outreach try to do, but also in trying to bring together different, whether it's age groups or different people, different experiences and different backgrounds. So actually try to create meaningful meetings, but also create more long-term meaningful collaborations between different actors, whether it's locally here in Uppsala or just between students and things happening around Uppsala or in the world, basically. We also try to have a component where outreach traditionally would be a researcher lecturing about that person's research, but we also try to bring in different practical elements and try to also tie the things we do together with student projects and courses, for example. Yeah, I'll get in more of the examples of the things that we're actually doing. Some of the things, as you will see, are more traditional as well. So Frantis Academy is a lecture series in Swedish, and that is a collaboration between the Uppsala City Library and Folkuniversitetet, which is a study circle people's education initiative. Folkbildning in Swedish. So each semester we have a theme and we bring in 3 different researchers and sometimes also some actors to actually talk about their research and have a short discussion. So that's only 3 times per semester. It's only 1 hour. It's in the City Library on site, but it's also something that will broadcast live on Facebook and in other platforms as well. Then the other activity we have in Swedish is a after-school activity for kids. That's called the Frantis Club and Gro. So it's a future club where kids that feel like they themselves, but also their teachers, have identified that they're a couple of years ahead in their studies. So this is a way also of challenging them and getting them involved in sustainability and climate issues and other things. But it's not like a formal teaching activity. It's rather a fun after-school activity, and it tries to be more interactive than a standard kind of school class. So that is also running this autumn, and it will continue in the spring, most likely. The other thing that I'm also part of organizing is these re-emergence emergency walks, where we basically have had different themes and also try to pick up different themes that might not be usual topics that are brought up in courses or topics in general that isn't brought up in most contexts. Some of the subjects have been fairly common in that sense. So that's something we're continuing. We'll have a Zoom individual walk on your own track, and we'll also have a physical in Uppsala walk parallel. So the people that show up in person, we walk together with a certain distance to each other into Stadsskogen, which is just nearby CEMUS. But then there will also be this walk basically with your phone and headphones, and then I will through Zoom organize you into these smaller breakout rooms 2 and 2. We'll see how many people that actually shows up for the Zoom version. But that's 3 different events you can go in and look at. So it's September 24th, October 8th, and October 23rd. The thing also that we are doing, and maybe we can go back to the main page. So basically we collaborate with different centers and departments at the university and also outside of the university, but also a collaboration with CEMUS courses. So this coming semester, there's 1 lecture, September 24th, lecture discussion with, it's on the theme of climate justice, I think. So that's here on September 24th, and that's a collaboration with the Climate Change Leadership in Practice course. Then we also have a conversation with a basically chocolate making company from the Netherlands that they have as a goal to make the chocolate 100% slave free, but not only their own. They're trying to make all of chocolate production in the world slave free. So that is also happening. That's November 3rd. And apart from that, there isn't any more, but there might be one or two open lectures or events and conversations coming as well later on. And the two final things I'm going to mention as well, or maybe three. There's two bigger conferences happening next year. You can look at them at the webpage, the Climate Existence Conference and also Moving Mountains. One thing that is actually new as well that I should mention is this call for open events, activities, and projects. So we've had sustainability festivals, we had a sustainability slam, and we've done different activities where students mostly, but also staff at the universities and the general public can basically come in with ideas of a guest you want to invite, a project idea, a activity you want to organize. And the thing that CEMUS helps with is advertising the event, reaching out in our networks, but also if you want to live broadcast something as well. And if we get back to in-person contact, we can also organize and pay for rooms that you need to book. Students can also book rooms for free. So that's also a thing to think of. But that is a rolling deadline, so there is no fixed deadline. It's something that is advertised, and you can just submit through the form at the end of this. If you have an idea, and it doesn't have to be a perfect idea or a finished idea, you can just send us a headline and a couple of bullet points of a thing you've been thinking about you want to organize. And the final thing I'm going to say about CEMUS Forum is that the two physical meeting places we've had, Collaboratoriet, closed down in June this year, and we hopefully, if things open back up, can start looking for a new location next year. So that space for having meetings is not available anymore. There are other spaces in central Uppsala that you can use. And then also CEMUS library that has been a study space, but also space you can book, is also closed for the autumn because the university wants to prioritize first semester students on bachelor programs. So that's why they need to minimize the amount of people in the actual